Hello and welcome to episode 42 of The Board Crew. My name is the ghost of Deek's past because I've not been here in many an episode. Welcome back, me. I haven't been in the studio for a while. It all feels foreign to me. In fact, there's a new sign here now. It feels like the world just moved on without me, and that's kind of nice to know. But also, I'm here with Ben as well. It is his house. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Deek. It's good to have you back in the studio.
On episode 42.
Oh, it's a good one to come back for.
Oh, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We made this joke a year ago saying, oh man, we're going to do something really big for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, make so many jokes about it. We have nothing.
Well, we're late. That's a new thing?
Yes. This episode was meant to be posted many days ago, and yet here we are. That's the big joke, is that we weren't on time. No, I'm finally
We forgot the towel.
We forgot the what, sorry?
We forgot our towel.
We were just busy washing our hair that night. But we have a special guest. This has been the year of special guests, Ben, where we just invite anyone that we play board games with to come on, and we thrust a microphone in front of them and say, you know how to speak, right? And they go, sure. And then they do wonderfully, and they always swim and outdo us. But here we are joined by Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hi. First time caller, long time listener. How you doing?
Great.
Thanks for having me.
I've only ever known you as Michael. I've never called you a Mick. Do you get Mick a lot?
Oh, I get Mick from time to time, usually by people that don't know me that well.
I was going to say, I'm not a Dan, you're not a Mick. Ben, I don't imagine you're a Benny.
I have been.
Oh.
I'm very much a names are something that other people give you. So,
All right, good
it's just
to know.
like, whatever I'm called is what I'm called.
When you're in
All right,
trouble.
thanks for that, George.
All right, moving on, Greg. Greg, it's not too far from the truth. Either way, we're joined here today because we've just minutes ago finished a game that has taken us an entire year to finish. The game isn't that long. It's just our availability is difficult to line up. And we started this in, I think, January or February, maybe?
Soon after CanCon.
Soon after. Okay,
sounds about right.
Would have been February. Literally wrapped it up as we recorded minutes ago. It is called The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment's time. But we thought while we're on the subject of trick-taking games, let's dive into some others, Ben.
Yeah, and keeping them cooperative. So we're also going to talk about The Crew and both versions of The Crew. So The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9, and The Crew, Mission Deep Sea.
So The Crew and The Crew Mission Deep Sea on the Board Game Crew.
Narrated by Terry Crews. Let's dive in.
So first up, we're going to talk about The Crew and also The Crew Deep Sea Adventures. They are basically the same kind of game. The Crew's been really big. When it first came out, it was hailed as a cooperative trick-taking game, which for anyone that knows trick-taking, you're used to teams, but I'd never seen a cooperative version before. And I remember thinking, that's not going to work. That sounds stupid.
Yeah, just like we thought For Northwood wouldn't work as a solo trick-taking game.
Yeah, well, I haven't actually tested that one yet because I can't find another player.
For that solo game, I know it's difficult.
I did see it on BGA. I'm like, ooh, it's technically a video game then. So.
It is too. And you've also heard some rave reviews about it on this particular podcast as well.
Yeah, that's it. So The Crew is a cooperative trick-taking game. In one sense, a bog-standard trick-taker. It has 4 suits and then a trump suit, the Rockets. The 4 main suits go from 1 to 9 in 4 different colours, and then the Rockets just go 1 to 4. Essentially, you'll deal out the cards to everybody, and then people have a mission. And at the start of The Crew, it starts off by you might have to win the 5 of pink. And if we can get Deek to win the 5 of pink, then we all win. And huzzah, we go on to the next mission. And it gets slightly harder. You start giving more to each person. It might be, I have to win the 2 of yellow, Michael has to win the 3 of green, and Deek has to win the 5 of pink. But we have to make Deek win the 5 of pink after Michael's won the yellow or green. I can't remember which one you were winning, but anyway.
Look, and that's half the point of the game. You know, you absolutely forget what you're trying to do, and you get confused and forget who is meant to do what goal, and that's probably going to be a bit of a theme with these games moving forward, I think.
Forgetting. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it does give you cards to tell you this is what you need to do. So in the crew, there's no talking about your hands because obviously that would make it ridiculously
Well, almost
easy.
no talking.
Well, there's no talking, but there is a communication method where you can place one card down and you can say, this is the highest in that suit, this is the lowest in this suit, or this is the only one in that suit. And you can generally play that at any point during the round. So you might start off with 3 greens, but after playing 2 of them, you can now play the last green face up on the table for everyone with that communication chip saying, this is my only green. And so using that with kind of your basic trick taking, must follow, trumps win. If you've played trick takers before, there's not anything special with the rules of trick taking in the crew, but you're going to try and work out how to get these different objectives.
And try and read each other's minds.
Yeah. And basically, you're trying to work with your partners and get those things. Yeah, I found the crew really simple and it works. And even for people that haven't played trick takers, it's an easy way to teach them the basics of trick taking in a fairly non-threatening atmosphere. Like, hey, we're all working together. Depending on the players you play with, some people get really aggro when you fail. So then probably not the people to learn with because they're like, why would you play the 7 now?
Yeah, and then you've lost the game, but you can't say anything because you're like, well, I know I've lost and there's no way I can possibly win this, but I guess I'll just play it out. And
Just see it through.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, someone just go, there's no possible way to win, I'm leaving. They flip the table. Then that usually is a sign that they want to stop.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a theme sort of lightly pasted on top of the crew. You're a bunch of astronauts out in space trying to, lead a mission. But the theme is incredibly light. It doesn't really have much impact on the game, but, it technically exists.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really felt the theme. It is interesting. The storybook kind of tells you the story of your quest for the Planet 9. And occasionally they're like, like a meteor shower is happening. So now none of you can use communications because it's put your radio off or something. So sometimes there's like tiny snippets of theme and all the cards have astronauts on them. But that's possibly about as much theme as you get from it. I don't think I ever felt like I was on a deep space adventure. No. And similarly with the deep sea adventure one, there's even less theme in that because the missions are far more scattered with deep sea. The way that the missions are built are basically each kind of task has a difficulty, and you have to, like on the first mission, you've just got to beat a difficulty 1, and then that difficulty increases, and so you deal out a number of tasks until you equal that difficulty. So some tasks are fairly easy, like win the 2 of pink or something. Well, that's like a difficulty 1. But it could be the captain is not allowed to win any odd numbered cards, something which is obviously significantly harder. Or the captain has to win all the rockets except for the 1.
And further along, you'll get multiple objectives that are concurrent with each other, some of which you need to do in a specific order. You need to do this particular goal before you do this goal, and they sort of line up on top of each other.
Yeah, I think the complexity also lies in the fact that, one, you need to count cards, you need to read minds, but also if you need to win that pink 2 and you have the pink 2 in your hand, you have to do some calculations in your head to say, how am I going to get this back into my trick pile? But 2 is such a low number, it's very hard to win on that. So you have to sort of filter through cards and plan ahead and hope that people are picking up your cues of, hey, I'm just playing this particular suit because I need to win off suit and things like that. And so you're communicating by not communicating any words, but you are in a subtle way. And that's kind of the draw of it as well. And you can also hear when you play a card and someone else goes, you go, okay, that was not the right card. And now I've ruined something for someone.
Yeah.
So there is a way early on at the start of the round to do, 1 degree of card exchange. It comes with a cost, but you can vote at the start of the round whether you're, exchanging to the left, exchanging to the right, not exchanging at all. But, if you're sort of following the story and the points system, it does come at a cost, but
Yeah.
there is a small way of sort of
Mitigating
adjusting your
something.
hands early at the start of the round.
And after you get to round 25, that cost disappears. So you automatically get the ability to do the exchange every round. It's 50 missions total.
Oh,
By
wow.
25, it's pretty nasty.
50?
Yeah.
I played 4 and I was like, this game's been going on for ages. Well, maybe we're just really bad at it too.
Yeah, I don't think you play them in one sitting, but yeah,
No,
there's
no.
and like, to be fair to the crew, after you've finished all 50, you could easily do them again. Like, it's a campaign, but it's not, as Michael said, there's not much theme and there's not a lot of story. So you're not like, oh wow, Planet 9 was there all along.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah.
It's a resettable campaign if you just don't write in the book. Like if you just remember that you were up to mission 5, you go, all right, when we play again, I'll remember mission 5. Or if it's been like years since you've played, go, oh, well, I don't know where we started. Let's just start from 1.
Yeah,
it
and the
seems
book's
easy
got
enough.
room for, I think, 6 different campaigns
Oh, sweet.
in the back of it anyway. So,
Even better.
Which is probably more than anyone. Well, more than I'm going to play the crew, but you know.
It's also really cheap. Like, this game is pretty accessible. It's available in a lot of commercial stores, and it's like $20 or something. It's just
Yeah.
a pack of cards. It's a box of cards and a couple of little figurines, and that's pretty much it. And it's affordable. It's well, at least that's the space one, and that's the only one I've played. What about the underwater one? How is it different to the space one? Is it better? Is it not as good? What's changed?
It starts slightly more complex than the standard crew. So you're probably, if you've already played the regular crew, maybe at level 5 or 6 is sort of where the starting point on the deep sea is, or whatever it's called.
Yep.
If you're not really familiar with the style of game, probably recommend the standard crew. But it is a mostly very similar game.
Yeah, I don't think anyone that's played the crew will get Deep Sea and be like, wow, I'm blown away by what they did here. It's just a different way of assigning the missions that leads to a more variable experience on each mission. So, like, if you've played mission 1 of the crew, you know, like, it's just one person win one card, and it's always that. And the card that they have to win will change, but it doesn't add much flair. Like, mission 1 is always mission 1. In Deep Sea, it could be any number of things in mission 1, but there's a clever way of assigning how difficult each kind of task is. And you have like this whole deck of tasks that you kind of shuffle up and deal out. And they can be really interesting kind of things of, this person can't win any rockets, or this person has to win more pinks than greens, or etc. And so that will just mean that if you're replaying, and especially with the crew, I often find a great game to like show new people that don't play a lot of board games. But that just means I'm playing like the first couple of missions over and over, and I'm like, I've seen these missions before.
Gosh.
These are great for people that don't play a lot of trick taking, but really, like, mission 1 of the crew is hard to lose.
Yeah, that's true.
Essentially.
Yeah,
But Deep Sea throws that up a bit. So it's more variable, but I will say I've finished all of Deep Sea as well. The downside is the missions feel very samey by the end.
right, okay.
Because you're just like, well, I'm just doing a bunch of difficult things.
When there's so much variety at the start of the game and anything's possible, by the time you get to the end of the game, you've basically gone through all those variations earlier in the game anyway.
Yeah, so it feels less of a progression than the crew, but it has that advantage of the early games are better. But I'd say it tapers a bit by the end.
So if you, come Christmas, it's coming up. If you were to buy, let's say a beginner early gamer, a board game, if you were to buy the Crew Deep Space or the Mission Deep Sea, would you go Mission Deep Sea, dive them in because you assume, look, they've already got some knowledge of trick taking, or would you start them with the Space one?
If someone's played plenty of trick takers, then I'd probably go the Deep Sea Adventure. If they're really new to board gaming, I think the Crew, the Quest for Planet 9.
It's an easier introduction,
Yep.
but almost too easy. So if you've got no experience at all, definitely a great place to start. But
Yep.
or if you're not particularly attuned to cooperative games, perhaps as well, not a bad place to start. But yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with either of them. Both are solid games and worth a few plays.
Beautiful. All right. Well, that's both the Crew games by Cosmos. This has been the year of Ben enjoying Lord of the Rings games because come July he heard about the fate of the Fellowship. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The pandemic, like.
I love
and
that
then,
game.
like, as soon as we walked into the gaming convention, walked straight to the shop, bought a copy, and was like, "We're playing this." Like, okay. So that game we've already reviewed in the pod, but now we have another Lord of the Rings themed game, which we've already prefaced by saying we've been playing this game all year, all of 2025. And it is the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. Came out last year, published by Office Dog, which is a great name, by the way. I think more offices need to have dogs, and also just a great
And those
name in
dogs should
general.
publish card games.
And those dogs
Absolutely.
should be put to work.
Yeah.
You know? earn your treats, you know?
Couple of office dogs hanging around outside this studio right now.
They want to get in so bad. Did you say treats? Did you say walks? Oh, if we say that word too loud, that might burst the door down. But this is, yes, as the name implies, a trick-taking game.
And speaking of walking,
True, we do a lot of walking. Well, they do a lot of walking. Our characters do. This is the story is based on the book, not the movies. So we get to see Tom Bombadil. Yeah, that's my favorite part of it.
and Goldberry,
Bill the
and-
Pony.
Yeah. You see every character that is even slightly referenced in the book because they have to have a minimum of 4 characters for every chapter. And sometimes they want to have 5 or 6. There's sometimes a bit of a stretch about like who was there.
Yeah.
They are
little
all
bit
there,
creative.
but like, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I guess they were mentioned. Like in the book, you see, there were 3 elves sitting around a fire. It's like all 3 of those elves are in this, and you can play as 3 of them. You're like, okay, I don't really know who they are.
Yeah,
but
you might have to look at the appendix of Lord of the Rings to find out their names.
Yeah.
But yes, they'll be there.
You need to be a Tolkien fan to be like, I know exactly who this person is and where they were. Trick-taking game, now that you're familiar with trick-taking games, if you haven't already played the crew and you now know how the crew works, this works in a very similar way, but you get to play as characters from the books and the movies, and they all have, I wouldn't say abilities, they all have conditions that you have to meet.
Sometimes they have abilities, but more than not, it's a win condition. So, for instance, Frodo, his win condition, I think every single chapter, maybe there was a couple that it was slightly different. He has to win 2 rings.
Yep.
Yeah.
So rings are the trump cards in this game.
Well,
like the
no, they're
rockets.
not the
well, not
trumps.
quite the trumps, but they're
No. Well, there's
kind of
one.
trumps.
There's one trump. There's a Joker. The
they're,
one
they're,
of
they're
ring.
the special suit.
Yeah, the other suits have 1 to 9, and rings have 1 to 5 in them.
Is it 1 to 9? I thought it was 1 to 8.
Oh, 1 to 8.
It is 1 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There,
But
there
the
is
tree-
there is a 9 in one of the chapters.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a couple of 9s in a couple of chapters. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 1 to 8. Yeah. So,
You play through the story, and the great thing is if you've read the books, you just get little snippets of the story as your narrative intro and your prologue and epilogue and things like that. So that's always nice, and you get to see mostly familiar faces and familiar names. And once you choose your character, you draw your card. You get 8 cards, or the cards are distributed evenly. You get your cards, and then you decide what character you want to choose based on the cards you have. So let's say at
with the
start,
exception of Frodo, who
Oh, yeah.
always has to take whoever has a 1 ring is Frodo.
Yeah, so which meant that every single game we started would just sit in silence until someone said, "I'm Frodo." Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Because they had the 1 ring in their hand.
And then you go around the table, and each person consecutively chooses a character from the remaining options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it starts off with you're the hobbits, basically. You're just Frodo, you're Pippin, you're Merry, you're Sam, and their conditions.
And Fatty.
oh,
Fatty
Fatty's there
Bulger.
too. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Also
You
not
even
in
get the
movie.
5th Hobbit, which if you've never read the books, you're like 5th Hobbit. What?
Yeah. Didn't Fatty in the book stay at Frodo's new house when he moved to?
Yeah.
Yeah, he eventually
he
goes
stayed
back.
there.
in Buckland.
And then the riders came and like, where is he? And Fatty's like, man, I don't know. I just work here. Anyways, we can talk about the book for ages, but either way, if you haven't heard of it, it's a really good trilogy. And so you choose
yeah,
characters.
small indie, you know.
You can read it in an
Hard to
afternoon.
find, but like if you can find it in the back of a bookshop somewhere.
Yeah,
go
they're
for it.
difficult. Yeah,
I heard they made an animated film of it once. Yeah.
no clue. I haven't seen it or heard of it, but either way. So you choose a characters based on, or clever, like the intelligent thing to do is choose a character based on the cards you have. For example, if you have a 7 and an 8 of hills, and you see Samwise's condition is I need to win a card that has the 3 of Hills or something. You go, all right, well, I'm pretty much guaranteed to win at least one trick that has Hills in it. Maybe I should choose Sam. And then Frodo's is he has to win rings and et cetera, et cetera. We could go through all the conditions, but we'll be here all night. So that is essentially the core of the game. Once you finish your trick, you go to the next chapter, I guess, and it is the next chapter in the book. And you get to get a little bit nostalgic reading it. And then you start again. New characters are introduced. Some characters disappear. Some characters you have to be. You just have no choice. So if everyone chooses the good characters or the easy characters and you're last to choose, you have to take what's left. And you better hope it's something good for you. Like, if you have no hill cards and you actually have to be Sam, you're in trouble. But yeah, that's the core of the game. It's just like any other trick-taking game, but with a little extra flavor and Lord of the Rings juice to it.
And a lot of the characters' abilities or conditions are quite thematic to who the character is. So you'll get Boromir, who, has to win the last trick, but he's also got the additional condition of cannot win a ring because you don't want Boromir anywhere near the rings.
Yeah.
They're all sort of tied into who the characters are, which I think really adds to the narrative of it.
Yeah, and the thing that I really liked was you play the first couple of chapters and you're like, this is like the crew. But then by chapter 3, it suddenly introduces new kind of mechanics that it can do because it's so story-based, to the point that really as you go through those chapters, there was a lot of moments where I was like, wow, that's really clever. I hadn't thought of doing that with it. And I don't really want to spoil anything. Yeah, because I think there's a joy of discovery as you go through this. But it is just really quite amazing how they take different things and make different ways that you're going to interact with the cards. You're still always playing a trick-taking game, but suddenly you might have like an NPC opponent, essentially, that you're playing against, or you'll have special loss conditions. Occasionally you get special powerful items that you can use to break a rule or change something up.
Or there'll be special conditions based on the environment that you're in that particular chapter.
Yeah.
And even just having different combinations of characters, a strategy that works well for this character. Suddenly you've got someone else in the game as well, and you're just like, that's not going to work anymore.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing is the characters often have an ability which is called an exchange, where you get to give one of your cards to another player. They get to look at that, and then they can either give that card back to you or give one of their other cards back to you. And it's quite thematic which characters can exchange with which characters. So the hobbits are really good at exchanging with each other. Aragorn will like help out any of the hobbits. If you get to Legolas and Gimli, they'll exchange with each other. And Legolas can also exchange with other elves.
And you'll get conditions where you could exchange with anyone except this character.
Yeah, you really do get the feeling that you're like doing the struggle of that particular character as they get various items that are related to those characters. Tom Bombadil feels like Tom Bombadil, which is annoying but overpowered as well.
I love the items when they came in, but there was a point where it felt too easy. And I wasn't sure if that was because we were just really good or that the items just saved us so well. And I won't spoil what the items are, what they do, but there was a point where I was like relying on them, like, yes, this is so good. And we finished a round and didn't use a single item. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I guess it's debatable whether the items are necessary. What do you think?
Well, they don't come up that often. I feel like they really do add sort of an extra layer to it. Just sometimes a little bit of reprieve after a particularly tough mission. It's nice to have that easy round and that easy win before you move on to something else.
Yeah, it's interesting. The different narratives, sometimes you do get a reprieve and some are much easier than others. And it's not just an escalating difficulty, but it makes sense narratively. When you're staying in Rivendell, it's not that stressful to get the various tricks that you need to get. But then when you land in Moria, spoilers, that's not a nice place to be. And it's pretty tough. Yeah. Yeah, and again, like when you first meet Tom Bombadil, you're like, this is awesome. This is like so overpowered. And then as the hobbits leave Tom Bombadil and run into Wraiths, you're like, oh, where's Tom? Like, this is so bad.
Yeah, he does just take his back seat to all of this, doesn't he? I'm not getting involved. I'm too strong.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe you could get involved a little.
Yeah, so it was really nice, actually, that kind of up and down. Some missions were so brutal and punishing, we were redoing again and again, trying to accomplish. And even with items, we were like, ah. But to that item point, I found that usually it introduced the items on an easy scenario, and then you got them the next hard scenario. It was kind of like, here, have a play with these items, figure out how they work and why they're good. And then next one, you're going to need them to go.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just saw them as one that was too easy, and then the second one, it was like, oh, it doesn't matter if we lose a couple of these. We're just going to use the items and burn our way through. And that kind of like soured it a little bit for me. It did take me a while to really click with this game. I'm not a big trick-taking person, but I love Lord of the Rings. So when it was offered, I was like, yep, I'll jump in. I'll learn it. I'm happy. I'm not big on trick-taking, but I'll give it a go. So it did take me a while, and I made a lot of mistakes, and that was kind of getting me frustrated. But then towards the latter half of the year, I was like, this is clicking, and it's working for me now, and I'm kind of counting the cards, and I'm reading people's subtleties, and it just worked really nicely. I'm kind of sad that we finished it tonight in such a, I don't know, anticlimactic way.
I thought it was glorious, quite frankly.
I mean, we had tried that one a couple of times and then gave up because it was getting too late.
Yeah, like mind you, like to our listener, I'm sure you're in the same position. We have day jobs, so we infrequently gather, and when we do, we've had big days, and we're not at our mental peak, basically. So when we are playing and we make mistakes, we're just like, oh, I'm so tired, but I want to get through this mission. I just want to get it over and done with. So when we played like a couple of weeks ago, we're on this mission. We just could not for the life of us get through it. And then we played it tonight, first round, did it in like 7 minutes. We're just like, done. That's is there any more chapters? No, that's it. Okay. When's the second one coming out? Like going online, when is the second game out yet? So yeah, really enjoyed it. I'm actually really looking forward to playing Two Towers. It's finally fully clicked for me to the point where I'm counting down to playing the next one.
So you say there's no more. There is a option at the end of the game to sort of combine the elements, create your own scenarios, and just play multiple different variations of that. We haven't tried that out yet, but it does give it some more replayability if that is the only one you've got.
Yeah, and it looked like an interesting setup with the different characters. Having a Black Rider, you got a couple of items that you can choose to use as well. So it does feel like they have put some thought into making that. There's 18 chapters, I think it was, that we went through. But some of those chapters are actually broken into 2 or 3 bits. Like, so Moria, when you do that, you have to do 3 sections of the chapter. So it's kind of like there's 3 chapters in Moria, and all of them are terrible.
Yeah.
Especially the last one of it.
There's short missions and long missions. Short missions is basically you just grab whatever characters are available, win the round, and you move on to the next chapter. Long tricks are generally when you've sort of got the full fellowship together. What you sort of need to actually work through the whole range of characters over multiple rounds. So you might be playing as Sam, Frodo, Aragorn, and Gimli one round. The next round you bring in Gandalf and Legolas and Pippin, and you need to do multiple rounds and tick off all the characters as you go through.
Yeah, and sometimes there's a bit of a mix. So it's like you've got to win with all of these characters, but like you can use, for instance, Bill the Pony, but it doesn't matter whether Bill the Pony wins or not. The hobbits have to succeed, but the pony maybe not, which is a shame because I love Bill the Pony.
We made sure Bill won.
Yeah.
I like that the game kept staying fresh. They kept adding surprises, even when I thought, we've exhausted everything. They still threw things in there, and I was like, oh, okay, there's some added fun or added criteria, I guess. Trying to speak very vaguely without spoiling things, but new things are added, and it's just fun. Yeah, I like that. Unlike what you said about the crew, how come 20 mission 30, 40, 50 onwards, it gets a bit stale. This one, I felt like it kept shaking it up. It kept adding variations that felt new. In my respect, take my opinion with a grain of salt because I haven't played the latter half of the crew, but it felt like it was new. Everything felt like a different challenge and kept it fresh. And I was kind of surprised by how they kept finding new creative ways to make a trick-taking game happen.
Honestly, I went into this thinking like I like Lord of the Rings, probably not as much as the board games that I've been playing this year would indicate. Although I really think it's a great book. But I just thought, like it's going to be the crew with a cute little theme on it. And I've enjoyed playing the crew and like, let's just relive the Lord of the Rings story. I was really impressed by the way that they've used the story to make the game. And it feels like it's story driven about how those tricks are going to unfold, even to the point of it doesn't just ramp up the difficulty. You don't like chapter 5 isn't necessarily harder than chapter 1 because it depends on where you are narratively, whether you're in a restful, safe spot or whether you're like running for your lives or like out of the prancing pony or something. Yeah. And so it's just really cool when you like, suddenly you're playing, Mr. Underhill or something, and you're like, well, this is Frodo, but it's not quite
right,
Frodo.
Yeah.
And that's not really a spoiler because
In the book.
Underhill is like in the book, and they use all those characters and all of them, their abilities and their kind of their quest that they have to achieve. What you would imagine if they were translated into a deck of cards, I guess.
Yeah.
Each chapter comes with a tiny little snippet of the book on one of the cards right at the front. And you can read that and then it really adds to, the theme and the story. But if you took that out and you're just playing the chapter with the characters and the mechanics that they've set up, you know where you are in the book if you've read the books. You don't even need that. It helps, it adds, but the theme is really well tied in that you still know exactly where you are in the story.
The art. What do we think about the art?
It's kind of almost looks like stained glass kind of art.
I was thinking, stained glass. That's what I went to as well.
Yeah. It's like a medieval stained glass kind of motif of all the characters and the scenes and etc. Which
like really pointy, jagged edges or German expressionism meets.
Yeah.
It has that kind of medieval feel. It's very soft kind of palette as well. There's not any striking kind of colors. Everything's slightly muted. And I think it does fit the theme pretty well. The card quality is not great.
No.
It's really like now that we've finished this and we have been using a CanCon library copy, so it got a few plays over the CanCon weekend, but we've played it more than like it was played at CanCon.
You can tell how far the people at CanCon got through the campaign by the way that the cards got slightly better in quality as we went on.
Yeah.
If I was buying this, I would sleeve it.
Absolutely.
Because
I agree.
those cards are not good and they are...
Shuffle them a lot.
You do shuffle them a lot and they are really sticking together now and they're showing a lot of wear on the outside, which is not game breaking because they're all showing so much wear that you can't possibly...
Yeah.
That would be my one knock against the game. The card quality is really poor.
There was a point later on where, without going into spoilers, there were some cards that needed to be shuffled in with the main deck that it was fairly obvious when you had one of those cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely worth giving them a good sleeve.
Last thing before we move on, most memorable mission without spoiling too much, just based it on the books. I'll go first. Not memorable because I liked it, memorable because we got so stuck on it. But I respected its vision with the book and its adaptation, I should say, and that's the Lost Woods. And we were lost, and we kept getting lost, and it's a fun way that we got lost, and I appreciated how they added things to it, and it's really hard to talk about that without spoiling. So I really did not like the Lost Woods, but it was the most memorable, and I respect it. I respect it for what it was.
For me, I'd say the arrival at Lorien. There was a particular mechanic there that my tired brain just could not wrap my head around, and I just kept stuffing it up every single round. Every time I played a particular character, there was a thing I had to do which my brain just did not remember by the time I got to it every single time.
And we'd be like, "You sure you want to play that?" And we're like, "Oh, that's right. Yep, I forgot about that rule. Yeah, don't worry." We'll try and figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk in this game. You obviously can't say what is in your hand, but I mean, there's no rules against talking, is there?
And unlike the crew, there's no kind of communication aid that you can use. There's the exchange, which can be really useful to communicate with one other player at the table about what we've got. You kind of communicate by the character that you select. You kind of, unless you're last,
Yeah.
you're kind of telling people like, "Ooh, look, I'm taking Sam," and everyone's like, "He's got some
He's got
hills."
lots of hills,
yeah.
Yep. But your favorite scenario, your mission chapter?
Yeah, look, I think for me, just actually that going through the Shire was fun. The first mission and maybe even the first two, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the crew with some Lord of the Rings art. And then by mission 3, and like you spend 4 missions or something in the Shire, I was like, this is really clever. Like,
Yeah.
like we've got extra hobbits and like we've got stuff to do, and it really feels like we're actually progressing even in the Shire. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I also did love when we got to Rivendell and you get all of the Fellowship, and then suddenly you're like, wow, look at all these characters. Like,
We did it, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun. It's
And
fun.
how does this character work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always the thing is, oh, we got a new character. What do they do? What's their condition? Oh, that's not too bad. Or this character, oh, okay. I don't want to choose them.
Yeah,
Are they
that's
gonna
really
last?
hard.
Yeah, you try and like rack your brain. How long were they in the book for? Because I don't want them to be in this for too much longer. I have my one I'm thinking about, but I'm not going to say who. I was like, I did not like that person coming in. But anyway, that's the Lord of the Rings trick-taking game. I can't believe a dog published it. Kudos to the office dog. But Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game by Office Dog. All right, 3 trick-taking games, 3 gentlemen. Oh, episode 42. I was going to say if it was 43, we would have nailed that. But either way, we have talked about the crew, Search for Planet 9. We've talked about the crew, the underwater one, which I always forget the name of. I think
Mission
you mentioned
Deep
9.
Sea.
You've mentioned it about 9
Yeah.
times, actually. Mission Deep Sea. And we've talked about the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. Of course, there's a Two Towers version out. Is it out now? As of
Out
recording?
soon.
I think it's coming out this month.
Right,
So,
okay.
yep. It will be at CanCon. So,
Oh, all right.
woo.
CanCon tickets are available.
Yep.
I imagine the Return of the King's going to come out at some point, hopefully. I
I
mean,
assume so.
if
Yeah.
given
Why
the
would they do
success.
that?
Well, they just stop. Well, if they don't sell well. But how
Yeah.
would that be if you just got to Two Towers and you're like, if you'd never read the books before, oh, I really hope they get to Mordor. What's going to happen? Sorry, didn't sell enough. We can't publish The Return of the King. What? And I haven't seen the movies either.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who hasn't seen the movies? Like anyone at all that you've met?
I'm sure some young people.
I've met
It's-
some people.
They're fairly old.
I mean, I've got a 5-year-old who hasn't seen it, but that doesn't count.
There are full-grown adults that were born after they came out.
That's insane.
Look, I mean, I'm interested to see how they handle the Two Towers. It's a very different narrative feel to the Fellowship of the Ring, not least because like the Fellowship's broken into all these tiny bits. So whether that's going to be, we're just going to discreetly like zoom in on Frodo and Sam now, and then we're going to go over to Merry and Pippin.
And there are sections
something.
where there are chapters where there simply aren't 4 characters, even when being really creative. I'll be very curious to see how they come up with a way of doing that well for 4 players.
Yeah. So it will be really interesting to see how I've got confidence now, having played the Fellowship, that they really fought and cared about the story. But I'm anticipating some surprises in the Two Towers.
How they do Frodo, Sam, and Gollum.
Yeah.
And the 4th character is the Rock or the potatoes.
Yeah, I don't know. So maybe they'll have. Yeah,
And they don't even start with Gollum.
Yeah, true. Gollum comes along a little bit later.
yeah.
Interesting. Either way, excited to play it again in 2026. Thank you, Michael, for joining us and being thrust behind the microphone. How was your experience on the pod?
Horrible, never coming back. Wouldn't dream of it.
We'll see you in the next
I hate you
episode.
all.
That's exactly
Cutting
what we
all
want to
that.
hear.
Yeah, so-
And we'll leave it there. Thank you for getting bored with this. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, listener. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been the Board Crew, and thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Hey, if there's a board game that you really want us to review, feel free to recommend it to us. Roll over to our socials, leave us a review, continue the conversation, and just have a bit of fun with us. We'll see you next time.
Number 1 is fine, and number 2 is fine. So, like my number 2, but number 3.
Hang on. I think I've worked out the problem. This mic is not plugged in.
So which one is number 3 plugged in? Oh, number 3 is that.
Oh, it's this one.
Right. Okay.